Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Fringe Fanatics. We are coming at you on a Monday. It's 5:13, and as always, I am Chris Zane.
And I'm Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys. As always, we appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please make sure to go like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all things social media. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave us a review and rate us 5 stars on whatever you watch or listen to us on, because we need that, damn it.
Yes.
We need it.
Do it.
Yes, do it indeed.
It's episode 83.
83. We made it to 83.
Yep. We're getting really close, man.
It's like we're too dumb to quit, you know?
Chipping away.
Chipping away. That's right. How do you eat an elephant, Chad?
One
bite at a time.
Yeah.
Yes, you were there.
I knew it. I was like, I knew I heard this thing.
It's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is episode 83, and this week we are focusing on Mr. Theodore Paul Hendricks, also known as Ted Hendricks, or also the Mad Stork, as he was nicknamed. Oh, well, that's a weird way to say nicknamed. He's a former professional American football linebacker who played for 15 seasons with the Colts, the Green Bay Packers, the Oakland, and Los Angeles Raiders in the National Football League. He was a member of 4 Super Bowl winning teams and was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1990 after being elected to the College Football Hall of Fame in 1987. He is also the first Guatemalan-born football player in the NFL.
How about that?
Yeah, he played college football for the old Miami Hurricanes.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
Well, it was at Miami that the tall, thin Hendricks gained the nickname the Mad Stork. It was a nickname that would follow him until his NFL days when he was simply called the Stork. His Baltimore Colts teammate Mike Curtis attested to the appropriateness, it's a weird way to put that, of the moniker, noting that when the 6'7" Hendricks ran with these long, skinny legs flapping every which way, he really does look like a mad stork.
That's fair. He's a lanky guy. That's where you get from that.
Yeah, and we kind of figured after reading this that it is almost like a way that he kind of paved the way for guys like the Condor, Max Crosby, to come through. That's also got a huge wingspan.
That's true. Yeah. They're both big old white guys.
Embracing the bird moniker.
Yeah.
I get it.
Hendricks began his pro career as a second-round pick for the Baltimore Colts in the 1969 NFL/AFL draft. It was initially listed as a defensive end, which is why he had the unusual number of 83 for a linebacker. After Don Shula converted him to linebacker, he entered the starting lineup in the 6th game of his rookie 1969 season, the beginning of 69 consecutive starts with the Colts. So he definitely had a good run there with the old Baltimore Colts before they left and became the Browns, didn't they? Or no, they became the Ravens, didn't they?
Yeah.
The
Ravens, Baltimore left, and then they came back. Yep. But, what's crazy is he had 26 interceptions. Now, he was a linebacker, kind of / defensive lineman, but definitely more of linebacker. But 26 interceptions is, quite a number to have when it comes to linebackers. Normally, they don't catch that much, but with those long, skinny arms, he was snagging a lot of balls.
Yeah, he was also a member of 4 Super Bowl winning teams, 3 with the Raiders and 1 with the Colts, and was a Pro Bowl selection 8 times, at least 1 with each of his 3 NFL teams. Hendricks also played 215 consecutive regular season games. Like I said, 8 Pro Bowl games, 7 AFC championships, 4 Super Bowls. He was named as an All-Pro as a Colt in 71, a Packer in 74, twice as a Raider. So this guy was All-Pro all the time, and one of those guys who just paved the way for a lot of guys, like Chad just mentioned, in Max Crosby.
Yep. If you're a tall, lanky, defensive guy, if you can get your motor going, then you got a place in the NFL. That's right.
Head out on the highway, looking for adventure.
And whatever comes our way.
Yeah.
I want to keep it going.
Ain't nothing gonna make it. Big ups to Mr. Ted Hendricks. We are doing a little bit of a dry show today, so cheers.
Yep.
Hats off to you.
Yes, give you a little salute. Yeah, we've been drinking a little bit too much with the Nuggets game games going
that's
on.
true.
I just want to take a break. At least I did.
We've been going hard in the paint, as they say. Throwing a little bit of a sports.
Well, these Nuggets,
analogy.
man, they've just been giving us a roller coaster.
Yeah, and then it's all these games are late.
Yeah.
And it's like 8 o'clock. And all the hockey games are like, oh yeah, we're gonna start at 7:30, and then puck drops 7:50.
Yeah,
so 8, and then now we've got a Nuggets game tomorrow night at like almost
midnight,
9 o'clock,
pretty much. Yeah. It's like, don't they realize we have jobs? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like, what are you guys doing? I've got
rough,
stuff
man.
to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a guest on tonight, which is why we are recording on Monday. Dan Kelley from the Patriots Football Now. It's basically like, how would you describe it? It's just like a news report, basically.
Yeah,
it's almost like
it seems like he writes for him. It's like a web page, a website that he writes for, and he recently, we'll bring it up on there when he comes on, but yeah, he definitely received a lot of accolades for his draft analysis.
Yeah, his analysis.
Cool. Yep.
So yeah, we're excited to have him on, but that is why we are recording on a Monday. We like to try and get guests on, and we will bend our schedules.
We're flexible.
Try and make that happen. So, but in the meantime, he's going to be on. We're going to call him about 5:30 our time, whenever that is. His time, we don't know, but we don't understand time zones. It's above.
It's relative.
It's really relative.
Yeah.
But let's get into our weekends. How was your weekend, sir?
My weekend was a blast. It was a damn good time, man. It's a lot of fun to watch the Nuggets game with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I've really come to understand that. I was telling you this about at work today. She's really she knows all of the players. She's starting to figure out like their percentages of like three when Aaron Gordon's hitting three. She's like, oh my God, he never makes those. And yeah, we had some drinks. We even turned it into a drinking game where anytime a Nuggets guy made a three, we took a drink. So, needless to say, we got a little toasted because they were draining some threes Friday and last night.
Yeah, both games were really good, and they were definitely better than the first two games. So
yes, much better, much better. So we had a lot more fun doing that. We went to Raising Cane's on Saturday. Man, I haven't been there in a long time. Dude, I've been craving some fried chicken, and it was fire.
Yeah.
That Raising Cane's sauce that they do, it's kind of like how Chick-fil-A has their Chick-fil-A sauce or whatever, the special sauce.
Which is always, I feel like, the same sauce, like the same ingredients, just different.
You would think so, but Raising Cane's is quite different than everybody else's.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean this scientifically?
Just by tasting it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It seems like there's a little more pepper into it. Because like Chick-fil-A just is like really like
their paprika ratio.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's it. But it's just like Step Brothers, where you basically just mix like ketchup and mayo. And it's like,
I know.
Don't touch my sauce. Don't touch my sauce.
My special sauce.
Yeah. But dude, that was fire. What else did we do? We watched that new Johnny Knoxville movie, Sweet Dreams. That was a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, that's the one where he's like in a halfway house or something.
Yeah, and he's like a softball coach for the halfway house. That was pretty decent. But we played some beer pong yesterday out on the patio for the first time because it was warm enough. And yeah, we've realized it's kind of like a good luck to play some form of basketball before the Nuggets game.
Okay.
We played Friday night, and since it was like too rainy and stuff yesterday, we played beer pong to kind of make up for it. So.
Similar to basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you're shooting something.
You're shooting hoops, basically. Yep. So,
yeah. Well,
that's cool, man.
It was a good time. What about you?
We had a separate weekend. I was kind of batching it to some degree. I was watching my parents' dog and staying at their house while they went to Texas for my niece Kaylee's graduation.
Sweet.
So yeah, she graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology, which will fit right in with our family. I'm sure we could use a lot of psychological help. So But so I was pretty much at my parents' house, but I still was going to our house and working on shit in the afternoons, doing still a bunch of yard work. Got our garden planted.
Oh,
some
wow.
of it,
Nice.
Some of it. We got to do seed starters and stuff for some stuff, but
gotcha.
Got like the peppers planted. We got some Brussels sprouts, dude.
Whoa, Brussels sprouts. That's cool, man. Yeah. I love Brussels sprouts.
I do love Brussels sprouts.
Oh, man. Dude, you put a little
glaze and caramelize those things.
Yeah, sometimes you put little bacon bits or something. She uses like a little bit of balsamic.
Yeah.
That's good on there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
I love Brussels sprouts.
We're growing those. We got a couple tomatoes, little maters.
Nice, man. I'm jealous. I plan on getting ours up going at least in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we definitely. Last year we didn't start until like 2 months from now because I had to build the garden and shit.
Yeah.
But we are way ahead now, so
Yep.
we're gonna get so much stuff.
Early bird gets
Juice
the
is
worm.
asking if did you see the Aurora Borealis?
I did not. No.
Yeah, I didn't.
Saw lots
either.
of pictures.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah,
Apparently,
we
there's
had
a
a-
conspiracy theory I saw where they were testing some sort of ionosphere thing, and that's why we saw them. But that was also from a guy we used to record with, who also believes like every single conspiracy.
Maybe the
theory
Earth is flat or something too.
I don't know if he's that
Yeah.
far, but you're not too far off from any of those when you really start going down the wormhole. So
It's pretty nuts. It is so sci-fi to me, like whenever I was looking into it, because I used to watch these crazy like apocalypse shows on History Channel where it was like going into each one of the different apocalypses that's happened on Earth throughout the years.
yeah.
And that is what they fear now, is like solar flares. And that's kind of like what this was a small energetic storm that came from the sun, and then these energized particles come through our atmosphere and can mess up the communication. When I woke up on Saturday, I didn't have LTE, 5G, or anything like that. I turned my phone on and off, then it worked. It was fine.
I didn't even look at my phone.
Yeah. There was internet outages like in around like 40 or 50 cities across the United States. So it's pretty nuts, man.
It is pretty nuts.
Yep, but we held up.
Yeah, I mean, we made it, surprisingly.
I was kind of shocked. I
I don't know how we survived,
our
but,
feeble communication system would drop in an instant.
but
Nice. It's the Twilight Zone.
oh my god.
Bongos. Nice. But yeah.
So no Aurora Borealis for me, but
That's cool that you got to batch it a little bit.
yeah, batching it with my crazy little sister dog.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. Did a whole bunch of shit in the front yard, but that ended up turning into way more of a project than I thought.
Yeah.
There was like a shitload of dirt. I'm trying to take out what I thought was mostly like wood chips and move the rocks from in front of the house. I probably said this on one of the other episodes. And put the rocks under the fence and move the wood chips by the house because I got like 5 bags of new wood chips to put out.
I gotcha.
But then I started moving the wood chips, and then there was like 3 inches of dirt in there. And so it was like 6 wheelbarrows of dirt I had to shovel out of there to get back down to the weed barrier.
God damn, dude.
And I was like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Grinding away, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Oh, yeah. I was technically right. I batched all week because she was gone. And then I saw her Friday night, and then that was it. So she probably enjoyed the break for me, in all honesty.
Absence makes the heart
Grow fonder.
break.
Oh, okay. You went dark.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll be in the same boat. She leaves town Wednesday. So.
Party at Chad's. Bring the cake. I got the tab.
BYOB.
Yeah. Well, that about does it for the weekends, I think.
I think so, man. It was pretty chill.
Wasn't too bad. Yeah, watched the sports, Avs on Saturday. It was a bummer.
Yeah, the Avs needs to play better. They play tonight, 7:30.
Yeah,
Well,
they got to get that
later. We'll see.
probably about 7:50. But
Well, should we get into the headlines?
yeah, we'll get into the headlines real quick. I'll play the sound because we didn't play it last week.
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
The fan, I think, is probably the one that's not on.
Right, going right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Pew! There goes everything.
Yeah, I like how you know my light switches in my house more than
Yeah.
me.
Well, yeah. Someone's got to know.
Yeah, there's too many light
But
switches.
so yeah, we're gonna do the NFL first, and then we're gonna call Dan and see how things are going out in Beantown, as they say.
That's right.
So
We haven't had any Boston guys on before. So.
No, we were talking about it earlier. We really hope he has a cool Boston accent.
Yep. I didn't even think about it. He's probably watching this game right now too. If he's a Celtics fan, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Hopefully he can talk to us. But any Hoosier, let's get into the NFL. I'm going to play one we haven't played in a while. I don't know which one. We're going to go with this one.
You need the ball. Are you gonna get me the ball? I'll get you the ball. I hope he doesn't kill somebody. I'm back!
The last time you played it, you said too, this one's pretty low.
Well, at least I'm consistent.
Well, that is from The Replacements.
Yeah, great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yep.
But yeah, let's get into the NFL headlines. We found out who's kicking off the NFL season.
Yep, got announced first thing this morning.
Yeah.
Ravens at Chiefs to kick off the 2024-2025 season.
Yep.
Rematch of the AFC Championship game.
Yep. The last time the Ravens played on the opening kickoff night was after they beat won the Super Bowl after they beat the Broncos, and then they had to come to Denver to play the Broncos because the Orioles were playing they wouldn't give up they
like
were
their
like,
9
nah.
or something like that. I can't remember
think they
what
share
it was.
a parking lot or something,
Yeah.
and they were just like, nah, we got a game.
I can't believe that. Yeah, they just shut that down.
So yeah, the Ravens won the Super Bowl and then had to play on the road for the first game and got their asses kicked by the Broncos.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how the NFL season's gonna kick off.
I'm happy about it, man.
Tell us why, Chad.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing because I'd much rather get the Ravens at this point. If you guys remember last year, they went on a heater and won, 14 games in a row or something like that. But it's always in the early season, in like most teams where they stumble and they just lost like 2 or 3 games. So I'd much rather get them when they're still trying to figure stuff out. Obviously the Chiefs are still going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be without L'Jarius Sneed, obviously, for ever. And Charles Omenihu who's still going to be recovering from his ACL. But I think it's a good way to get these young guys, a good challenge right off the bat. And, and I think it's a good way to open it up because I'd much rather get this tough team now and get it out of the way rather than week 10 when they're really hitting their stride and they're just right on the same path as last year.
Yeah, and it'll definitely, I think, be good as well as be a barometer for how the defense is going to be this season going up against such a run-heavy team. Let's not forget Derrick Henry's there now, and they're one of the best running teams last year, and they're probably only going to get better if everything goes as planned. So that is definitely going to be a pretty compelling matchup to start the season.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to it. It's coming up.
Nervous
quick.
for it, but luckily, after going through last year and losing to the Lions, I've now kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, well, if we lose this game to the Ravens, as long as we make the playoffs, that's all that matters.
At this point, maybe you should,
Who knows? Yeah. I mean, last year we didn't have Kelley or Jones, so luckily those guys will be playing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where we're gonna start the season. I mean, we're in rookie mini camps already, so it's like things are.
Well,
happening.
that just finished up, and then OTAs will be starting up here next week.
Yeah,
so it's rolling right along.
We're gonna be there before we know it. It's gonna be pretty crazy. It always feels like there's gonna be a nice break with football stopping, and then it doesn't really. There's no break.
Never. Yeah,
there's no break.
Well, and I mean, perfect example. We're having on a football guy tonight, so
yeah,
season is 365.
365, 7 days a week.
Well, let's get to the next bit of news that came out today. Jared Goff got paid.
Yes, he did. And yeah, I mean, he got paid a lot. So let's get that in there for a second.
Back it up.
Back up that Brinks truck. Dropping off them bags.
Back it up. Back it up.
So yeah, Jared Goff signs a 4-year extension, $212 million deal, $170 million guaranteed, $53 million a year. He is now the second highest paid quarterback behind Mr. Joe Cool, Joe Burrow.
Wow.
So
yep,
he's
the highest paid Lion in history too.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. There hasn't been too many Lions aside for Megatron, maybe, but that was so long ago. The pay scale was
maybe
crazy.
Matt Stafford had a deal, but I mean that was so long ago. That would be he was probably making like $15 million a year or something,
and like that was like a mind blowing amount back then. Now that's what Cortland Sutton makes
probably.
I think it's like 14.
I think it is.
Good up for Jared Goff. He deserves it. I mean, he's definitely had a resurgence over there in Detroit and turned that team around, especially after being a throwaway basically in the trade for Matt Stafford. To have him turn into the quarterback that's now led them to their first playoff win in 30 years. I think he deserves it.
I think so too. I think that they have really made a statement by paying their players. Just 3 weeks ago or so, I think they extended Amon-Ra. There's another guy I can't think of it right now that they extended, but they just they're really keeping their core part of their team there for a while.
Yeah, which is tough to do in the NFL. You got basically like a 5-year window with basic one roster, so to speak, if you can try and keep it together for that long, and that's tough to do.
Well, Jared Goff's still young, so it's really good to get this out of the way now, so you lock him up.
Yeah, it's
in
crazy.
Detroit.
He's only like 31, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
He's got that little baby face.
That baby face.
Yep. Well, there was another guy that got paid.
Yes, Antoine Winfield from the Bucks.
Yep.
Now is the highest paid defensive back ever.
Yeah.
4-year, $84.1 million deal with $45 million guaranteed. That's a whole lot of money.
Yeah. Well deserved too. I believe he got All-Pro last year.
Yeah, I think
he did.
Yeah, he was the
definitely
All-Pro
deserved
safety.
it. Yep.
So, yeah, good on the Bucks for keeping him around as well. Well, shit, we're still got a couple minutes.
Well, I think that's it for NFL, right?
It is, yeah. That's what I was trying to see where we should go.
Well, I think we could talk about WNBA real quick if you want.
Yeah, okay.
Because it tips off, was it tomorrow night?
Yeah, I know Caitlin Clark starts tomorrow night. I don't know. There could be,
It might be tonight.
there could be a game tonight. I'm not entirely sure. Why don't we look into that?
Basketball is a voluntary
Play
activity.
this.
It's not a requirement. Any of you feel you don't want to be on a team, feel free to leave right now. Did you hear what I said?
Me?
Yes, you.
Sure, I'm just curious to know when we start.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We start when I say so.
Okay, so there we
Just kind of
go.
let me know because I'm kind of getting cursed.
Yeah, so Caitlin Clark is not only just helping her own team, she's helping other teams sell out, as most notably the Connecticut Sun, whose first regular season game is now a sellout. Their second sellout of all time, the first time being their very first game ever as the Connecticut Suns.
Pretty cool.
I think they only have it's like 8,000 some seat arena, so it's not that big, but this isn't the only thing that we're seeing. There's been a few other teams that are moving their games to bigger venues to try and get some more ticket sales and get some more people in. So.
Yeah, I'm glad we brought this up too, because it got announced last week. I don't think we mentioned it, that Toronto will be getting a WNBA team next year.
Nice.
Yes, it was announced, and they will be the city that will be awarded the next WNBA team. So that's pretty exciting.
That is pretty cool.
Yep.
I was
Going
hoping it was going to
international.
be the Denver, but
Yeah, unfortunately, no.
I'm sure we'll get one eventually with the Nuggets being a team.
We have a
the way
lot
they
of
are.
sports teams here between lacrosse and soccer.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
quite a bit, but I mean,
We got-
we can never have
we
too
got
much.
2 lacrosse teams, indoor and outdoor.
That's true. Yeah, lots of it. The Mammoth.
The Mammoth, yeah, and the
Such
Outlaws.
a cool name too.
They got a cool. Have you never been to a Mammoth game?
Oh,
have you?
never. No.
You should check it out sometime. They're super cheap to get into.
Well, they play here
And
at
it's
Dick's,
like
don't they?
The Outlaws play there. I
Okay,
think.
okay.
No, the Outlaws might play at Invesco, but
I think you're right. They do play in.
um,
You said Invesco. That's great.
I know.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, I hear you. But
Mile
Caitlin
High.
Clark was recently seen. She's been supporting the Pacers at their home games. When they've just had a bunch of good games, and she's up there in the skybox supporting them. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like maybe she could be the catalyst that kind of, propels the WNBA into the next generation that could, bring it to the forefront, so to speak.
I think she's the one that's definitely putting a lot of it on her shoulders. You got to give credit to Cardosa, Angel Reese there at Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
I think those girls are going to be dangerous there in the paint. And then also, God damn it, this is frustrating. Who's the girl from Stanford last year?
Sabrina Ionesco.
No, the rookie, the one that just came out of
Paige
Stanford.
Bucher?
Paige
Yeah.
Beckers plays for UConn, but she's still in the league.
The fact I'm throwing these names
I know.
out, I'm
It's not bad.
surprised.
No, she plays for the Sparks this year. Man, it's killing me. I'm gonna. Ooh,
We've got time.
Yep. Man, I can't believe I can't think of her name right now. That's crazy. I am really tired. Yeah, we're running on E right now, but we'll find out here in a second. But she's another one. There's gonna be a lot of stars that everybody's looking forward to.
Cameron Brink.
Thank you, Cameron Brink. I appreciate it. Yeah, she is huge. She is so tall and lanky.
6'4". They also have Lee Yuru, who's 6'7".
Yeah, but yeah. A lot of good things happen for the WNBA.
Yeah, and deservedly so. I do feel bad that they are like just struggling, to kind of to exist. So.
Well, I think the marketing is going to be a lot better this year too with these stars. It always kind of it's like the chicken and the egg thing. Which one is it? Is it the marketing that does it, or is it the stars? And I think it's going to hopefully be a mixture of both this year. So
yeah.
That's good.
Let's hope that this is a turnaround that they need. So,
I think we could probably squeeze in golf real quick if you want, man.
Let's do it. Let's get golf in. We'll just keep knocking these out because I actually have to pull double duty tonight. I got to go to practice right after this. So I'm probably gonna be dead tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll just be like,
it's got many irons in the fire tonight.
I'll just be dead. People
podcasting, shredding the guitar. Chris does it all.
Singing, singing my little heart out. But, all right, well, let's get into the PGA.
Go to your hole.
Son of a bitch, Paul. Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Answer me. Yeah, you can tell we're a little wild tonight.
Yeah.
I'm like a toddler.
Appreciate you guys being patient.
Yeah. It's still, we'll always give you good content no matter what.
But
what
happens during the NBA playoffs, man.
Yeah, it's a ripper on time right now. We're going back-to-back nights, basically. Well, yeah, with playoff hockey and NBA right now. So, so Rory McIlroy wins
the Wells Fargo Championship.
Yeah, comes back to beat Xander Schauffele.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the PGA Championship this weekend.
Yes, and it's in Valhalla. Not the fictional Norse place for heaven.
To die to go there.
Yes, it is a golf course named Valhalla.
Yeah, which is a pretty cool.
Dude, it's a sick name, man.
Where is it at? I don't even know.
I have no idea, but apparently it's a very prominent golf course. But that's just it. It's like Roy, this I feel like happened just recently as well, where like he wins a small tournament and then it's right before a major and everybody's like, oh, this is great momentum to go in there. Like we were just listening to it on PTI. Mm-hmm. But what happens? He never does too well in these majors. At least not here recently.
Yeah, and he's been on a 10-year drought at the PGA Championship. So, it's in Kentucky. Valhalla.
Oh, wow. I'll be damned. That's cool.
So this was the site of his last major win 10 years ago, so he's got that going for him. They're heading into a place where he won it 10 years ago.
He has won before.
So he's got the golf course in his favor. He's got the momentum in his favor coming off the win. But
you also got the dude you got to knock off.
Yeah.
King of the mountain right now, Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, who's golfing out of his mind. So, it's tough to say. I mean, I'm sure Scheffler's probably right up there in the top in terms of who they've got and favored.
You going to take a pick? To me, it's like a lottery pick. It's fun to pick golfers. We do this at work. Dan will take one. Dave will take one.
I realized I don't think I ever paid Dan for that. No wonder he's mad.
You gotta pay him, dude.
I totally forgot about that.
I got his Venmo if you want it. But let's see who is favored real quick. It shouldn't take too long. I'll pull up FanDuel because I think I want to go with...
I'm going Tiger.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to shoot him up with a bunch of roids. Let's... PGA.
I always like when you Google it and it's just like a bunch of words. I'm like, I wanted odds, not words.
Wow, Ludwig Oddberg. I can't remember how they said it. He finished second, I think, at the Masters. Or I thought it was. I mean, I don't think it was the Masters, but
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but he's got a really cool name. You know what? I think I might. Homa's been doing really well. Bryson will always start off really well, but then he falls off because he can't putt. I think I'll take Victor Hovland.
Victor Hovland?
Yep. Going with the Norway golfer.
All right. Well,
he is set at plus 5,000.
Damn.
Dude, I could put $5 and make $50 off that or something.
That's a pretty wild one.
Let's see.
Yeah,
$5 turns it into $250. Damn.
Yeah, there you go.
Now I just need $5.
Why can't I just find the? I just want to see the straight up odds.
Here, I'll just
Do you
give
have
you
it?
my phone.
Let me look.
There, take a look through there. Give us your pick, and then we'll get Mr. Dan Kelley on the line.
You gonna go Ludwig Aberg?
No, I'm going with Victor Hovland.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. All right.
Different.
Yeah.
Norse. Yeah. Dutch, whatever.
All right. I'm gonna roll with Rory because I picked him last time.
You do like Roy.
I do like Rory, and I
Yep.
feel like I like the way he talks. He's got a good accent. That's who we're gonna go with.
Yep.
So I'm gonna see if that momentum's gonna work rolling
it.
in. So
Go with
here
it.
we go. All right, let's.
You heard our
get
picks here first.
Mr. Dan Kelley on the phone.
All right.
See if he answers. Here we go.
Let's hope he answers. Let's cross our fingers. He's a busy man.
That was me. Don't worry.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
All right, we'll give him a little bit of time. We'll text him and just say that was us calling you.
Yeah, I just let him know.
Oh, okay, Chad,
Yep.
let him know.
I'm on it.
All right, well, let us keep cruising right along.
That's all good, you know. He's got kids. He's got
Yeah,
put
I'm
him
sure
down. He's on the
he's
East
busy.
Coast, so
Oh, look at that.
perfect. That's awesome.
All right, you want us to talk first?
No, you
Yeah,
answer.
okay.
Yeah.
Call from.
Dan Kelley.
To accept, press 1. To send a
What's up, Dan? This is Chris Zane from Fringe Fanatics. How's it going, man?
It's going great. How are you doing, pal?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Excellent. Good. Just finished my dad duties for the early evening, picking up and dropping off at dance class. So I just walked in the door. I'm good to go.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. Well, glad we called you right as you got in there. So.
Well, I appreciate you
Perfect
making time
timing.
for us, man. This is Chad here. I'm the one that reached out to you, and I really appreciate you coming on. I'm really interested. I wanted to really reach out to you because I saw how much you covered and how well you covered the Patriots. And right now, I'm really fascinated with the Patriots by their high draft pick. They went and got Drake May. Then they got that really good wide receiver in Polk. And I kind of just want to hear your
Yep.
thoughts on it, man.
Well, I've been following the Patriots for, since the pre-Robert Kraft days when things weren't always so bright. And this is the biggest lull in terms of just fan excitement around the team that they've had since the early 90s. So, I mean, a pretty special streak of, between 30 and 35 years. The big thing that I think this draft has done is get people excited about the team again. And Drew Bledsoe was the last player that was selected this high for the Patriots. And he really changed around, obviously Tom Brady later. But Drew Bledsoe really changed around the team in terms of just fans caring about the Patriots around here. And it was only in his fourth year that he led them to the AFC Championship. So we got a little of that again with Drake May, and they drafted two receivers. They got Jalen Polk in the second round. They ended up getting Javon Baker with their second, fourth round pick. And both of them are, they're both very explosive. Both had huge numbers last year, 1,000-yard receivers. So it's not just guys that ran good 40s or, had a big game or had an elite system, although the Washington system certainly was elite where Polk was. But A lot of excitement, and they're brash. They're coming in and, talking a little trash and feeling confident. And I don't know that they would have been the picks if Bill Belichick was still here. And that's not from a talent standpoint. It's just I think Randy Moss is about the only player that he ever tolerated on offense that really felt that great about himself. So just a lot of excitement around here. It's been great to see. Whether or not that translates into Drake May playing immediately, I think remains to be seen. I think there's an excellent chance that Jacoby Brissett begins the year as the Patriots quarterback, unless it's just overwhelmingly convincing in preseason. He deserves to start. But I think he needs to clearly win the job in order for the job to be his.
Yeah, and you kind of made mention of just like the new regime and how they're drafting and Gerard Mayo being at the head of that. And it does look like they definitely have, a process that they're going through for the draft. But then I saw a story today where Gerard Mayo came out and said, after rookie mini camps that Drake May has a lot of work to do, which, I mean, most of these guys are going to coming out of college and into the NFL. So I guess it's warranted to think that, he may be fighting for that starting job.
Yeah, I think that's pretty targeted messaging by Mayo also. Because if we're being honest, how much are you seeing from these guys over 2 or 3 days of rookie minicamp that you didn't see in the hundreds of hours that you put into film? Yeah. I mean, nothing has changed drastically between all of their college tape, their, the top QBs didn't go to the combine, but their pro days, their private workouts, and then to come out and say that right after rookie minicamp, to me, that's a pretty targeted message to the fan base to say, don't be surprised if we need to sit him for a year, which to me, in terms of the messaging, I think just saying that would probably work better. I know some people are hitting the panic button after that comment, saying, Plaxico Burress, former NFL wide receiver. To me, that means the Patriots know they picked the wrong guy. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think they're just trying to let fans know, don't expect him to be your week 1 starter. Don't expect him to lead us to a Super Bowl this year. Patriots are far from a Super Bowl contender. They've just gotten, considerably more interesting. They have a lot more to feel good about in the future. So that's all reason to feel good. In terms of the 2024 Patriots, you're probably looking at a team that would be if you told them right now they'll finish 9, probably take. That's what Jacoby Brissett at QB. So he's trying to temper the expectations of fans, but I think himself he's a rookie coach. I think he's going through things in terms of knowing the right thing to say to the public and what that does in terms of setting up fan expectations. When free agency began, one of his first comments was, "We've got plenty of money to burn," and then the Patriots went out and signed no big money free agents from other teams. And he said, maybe that was a rookie mistake. What I should have said was, we're going to spend it. We do have money, and we're going to spend it wisely. And so I think he's just really overthinking how some things are being said after that first gaffe. And I think this May thing is one of those where, he wants to really temper expectations. And, just Boston's a crazy media market. So when you're saying anything like that, it immediately is going to get twisted whichever way people want to twist it. I had Drake May ranked as the number 1 quarterback on my big board. So getting him at number 3 overall to me was a no-brainer. It was a great pick. I know a lot of other people have different perceptions of the pick and don't like his footwork and so forth. I don't love the pick because I think he's the most ready to play in the NFL right now. I think that's probably Jaden Daniels. I just think he has the highest ceiling to have a great career. I think he's the most likely player out of all the quarterbacks to have a great NFL career. And when you're picking this high, which fortunately for New England hasn't been often, I think that's what I would base my decision on. Who has the best chance to have a great career? And I think that guy's Drake May. And whether or not he doesn't turn 22 until after the season, until after preseason begins, until August, I believe. So there's no need to rush this along, but there's a lot to feel good about. I don't think I would have approached the draft the same way the Patriots did, but they ended up walking away with good players. I certainly would have handled that first round pick, third overall, the exact same. I would have taken May as well.
Yeah, it just was a sensible pick. I like what you brought up with the footwork. That has been one of the things that was criticized a lot. I don't know how you felt about them having Bill Belichick on Pat McAfee's draft cast or whatever was going on, but I thought it was pretty interesting having him on there because he really criticized a lot of these picks a lot more than the praise that you normally get on the other broadcast, and that is what his biggest dissection of May was his footwork. He's kind of got happy feet back there. It seems like he's not quite figured out the pocket yet and his pocket presence, but to me, if you look at when we're having you on, I wanted to watch a lot more highlights of Drake May. His deep balls and his accuracy, I think, is really what elevated him to the number 3 pick. So I think something like footwork and his pocket presence are things that can be easily coached out.
Yep, and I think that's one of those things where all of these quarterbacks have flaws. All of these players have flaws. Bill Belichick, who began in the NFL 50 years ago, said he has coached one player and seen one player during his entire coaching career that was ready to play in the NFL on day one, and that was Lawrence Taylor, who's arguably the greatest defensive player of all time. Mm-hmm. And Bill Belichick's won 8 Super Bowls, so it's not like he's not familiar with great players or productive rookies or anything of that nature. These guys just aren't finished products, and I think maybe how I evaluate prospects a little differently than some others is I do evaluate more what I think the player can become. So for me, like with wide receivers, for example, hands is a giant red flag for me for a wide receiver. Because if a guy still can't catch a football by the time he's entering the pros, he might never be able to catch a football. That's the job. So every year you see 1 or 2 guys go really high at wide receiver who have great 40 times, great college production. And for weaknesses, it will say hands. And I'm going, well, that's not going to work out at all. And it rarely does. Whereas a guy like Drake May, you can't necessarily teach arm strength, or you can't teach being 6'4" and 225 pounds. But you can teach footwork. Josh Allen came into the NFL with significantly worse footwork and was coming from Wyoming, so they were playing against lesser competition in addition. And Allen struggled he's one of the, in my book, probably top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. But he struggled coming into the league and struggled for the first couple of seasons until he got comfortable and he got Stephon Diggs, who he felt comfortable with. So the Patriots bringing in these potentially premier receivers at the same time as him and sort of growing with him and having weapons for him right off the bat, I think is to try to create a comfort level for him in New England. But in terms of footwork and stuff like that, I said much earlier in the draft process, maybe December or January, there were only two college quarterbacks I thought had excellent footwork, and that was Jaden Daniels and J.J. McCarthy. And at the time, I got bashed for it because people were saying McCarthy was a third-round pick who ended up going, I think, 10 overall. But to me, though, he is closer to his maximum potential now, despite people talk about J.J. McCarthy's age and so forth being a plus. But I'm not sure how much he's going to improve because he doesn't have that much to improve with. He's not going to get bigger. He's not going to get faster in all likelihood. He's not going to gain a ton of arm strength. He can be a very good NFL quarterback who could start for your team for a long time. But the chances of him getting to that next level, because his footwork is already great. It looks like he's had a private quarterback coach since he was 5 years old. Whereas Drake May played basketball, played baseball, played football, has great athleticism, throws on the run really well to either side, which I like about him. He scrambles well. He runs when needed. Took way too many hits in college, so he definitely needs to learn how to slide in the NFL.
They all do.
But in terms of, it's nuts. It's not. And I think once you get hit by even these backup defensive ends that are, 275 pounds and run a 4.5, and you realize that's the norm in the NFL, it sort of opens your eyes a bit. But in terms of his pocket presence, really his footwork is the one thing. And if he takes a season as an apprentice to Jacoby Brissett, works on his fundamentals, I mean, I think the sky's the limit for him.
That's really cool. I mean, your analysis, you can just tell by the way you talk, you're incredibly good at it. And I did just want to shout you out because we saw that you were actually honored for your draft analysis in a sense. I mean, you finished with a 23rd in overall rankings in terms of your mock draft on the mock draft database out of 1,427 drafts. That's pretty crazy.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was pretty nice. Hopefully I can get in the top 20 next year. I did. My boss told me that I got top in the Boston market, so that was nice.
That's got to feel good.
And I think a big reason, I know one of you is a Broncos fan, if I'm not mistaken.
That's me. That's Chris. Me, yeah.
Was my belief in Bo Nix. I paired Bo Nix with the Broncos pretty early in the draft process. I liked him more than I think just about any other analyst did. And again, we're not talking about super high ceiling guy, but you sort of know what you're getting with Bo Nix. He's a good football player. And my comp to him, I know people love doing NFL comps. I like doing sort of a best case and a worst case for NFL comps. And my best case for Bo Nix was Drew Brees. He reminded me of Drew Brees a lot, the way that he handles himself, the way that even in college he sort of played like a professional, was kind of a coach on the field, bit undersized, a little bit sneaky athletic, even though it's not, plus athleticism. And especially in the middle of the field, his accuracy improved tremendously his last year in Oregon. So I was thinking, at this point, I think the NFL's caught up to my line of thinking, which is quarterback is so important that if a guy is worth gambling on, he's worth gambling on in the first round. And if he's not worth gambling on in the first round, he's probably not worth taking until day 3. So this year I had 6 quarterbacks in day 1, and I had, I think, 3 or 4 quarterbacks on day 3, and that was it. That was it for the quarterback class for me. I had no day 2 quarterbacks, and then when that actually happened, I think a few people were surprised, but Bo Nix, I think, is going to surprise people, especially pairing up with Troy Franklin, who I think might have been one of the steals of the entire draft.
I think so.
Well, he was a steal anyways, and then to get him with Bo Nix, I think, was a huge thing. And my whole thing was, I'm just glad that Peyton got the guy he wanted, and now he's tied to him, because there's been so much wishy-washy stuff with coaches and, whoever it was. Fangio didn't care who the quarterback was, and then we get Hackett, who gets stuck with, Russell Wilson when the whole Rodgers thing fell apart. I'm just happy that he's tied to him now, and, that's it. You guys are going to go down together, whether it's good or bad.
Yep. I like it. And I think a big thing that, people do, especially with, and we can all be guilty of it, when people do mock drafts leading up to the draft, you're generally only doing them for one team. And people that do them for one team start to realize what the computer is going to pick. So you can say, well, geez, if I take Marvin Harrison with the number 3 overall pick, I could still get Michael Penix at 34 overall.
Yeah.
But in reality, Michael Penix isn't surviving to 34 overall, and neither is Bo Nix, and neither is J.J. McCarthy, because they're all NFL starting quarterbacks, which, and that's not the case every year. Kenny Pickett, I think it was 2022. 2022, I had 0 quarterbacks ranked as with first round grades. So this year's quarterback class was extra special, and there were a lot of teams in need of quarterbacks. And those two things combined are going to make a lot of quarterbacks fly off the board. So I know Bill Belichick always had this philosophy where if you have a player on the board that you like, you get him, because there's no guarantee that he's going to be there. If you have 5 guys that you like, you can trade down 4 picks and you know that you're going to get one of them. But especially with quarterbacks, trying to trade back is not always the best option. I know Denver considered that going down to 23, I think, in one of my mocks with the Rams had taken him. But, who's to say someone doesn't jump you in the line there and snag him? So,
and Atlanta screwed up everything when they took Penix. So
when they took Penix, I know that was
threw
one
a wrench
of the
in everything
I've ever seen. So we'll see. From my mock drafts, and everyone's different. From my mock draft analysis of where the Patriots specifically fell, they were picking at the top of every round, top 3 pick of every round. They had the second pick in the second round. For me, taking a tackle at 34 and then turning around and taking a wide receiver in the third round made a lot more sense to me. The Patriots did the opposite. They took a wide receiver. They took Polk in the second round. And then they took Caden Wallace from Penn State in the third round, who played right tackle his whole career. And the Patriots are in need of a left tackle, which they're going to try to convert him to. When you start looking at all of the potential runs, like, there could be a big run on tackles at the end of round 1 and at the end of round 2. To me, it makes more sense to grab one of those round 2 tackles a little early or trade back into the first round to get one than it does to take a third-tier tackle, because now the Patriots are in a position where they're probably going to have a real, tier 3 starting left tackle. It's either going to be their Caden Wallace, who didn't even play there in college, or Chuck Okorafor, who came over from the Steelers, starting at left tackle. So in all likelihood, if we talk again a year from now, I'll be talking about the Patriots' first-round pick, who's the number 1 left tackle in the draft, which is fine if that's how they chose to do things. But in terms of setting up the team for this season, I don't think that's the route I would have gone. But we'll see. It all, everyone's a genius until they start playing games.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true, man. Well, and it's not even like Caden Wallace couldn't play left tackle. I mean, it was almost like he basically was beat out by one of the best tackles in the draft in Fashanu over at Penn State. So it's no knock on him. That was a really skilled tackle over there. So hopefully he got some experience in practice or something.
Yeah, and I know they brought in Blake Fisher from Notre Dame with a top 30 visitor as well, who was in a very similar boat where he was the right tackle at Notre Dame, but it's up to the team to decide, is he better suited for right tackle, or could he have been a left tackle on 95% of other teams? He just happened to be playing opposite Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu or, whoever that guy may be. So the Patriots determined that he was versatile enough that he'd be able to switch over to the left. And, I hope they're right, because Drake May or who's ever behind center is going to need a lot better protection than they got last year.
Yeah, and I think a sneaky pick too for the Pats was Joe Milton there in the 6th round.
Yeah.
If you watch any of his highlights or just any of his film from any of his pro day, that guy is extremely athletic and can throw the hell out of the ball.
He's like the guy you make in Madden where you make him 99 on everything.
Right. He was the number 7 quarterback on my draft board. The top 6 were obviously the 6 that went in the first round. And Joe Milton was number 7. And my thinking behind it was, once you get past that first tier where, obviously not 6 out of 6 are going to work out to be great starters in the pros. But once you get past that tier where you're at least expecting the guy to be your starting quarterback for a couple of years, whether or not it pans out remains to be seen. The next tier, to me, and we all can view things differently, but to me, I'd rather take a gamble on somebody with elite athletic skills, elite arm, elite runner, elite size. But I gotta say, I've watched a ton of his college tape, and it's not that impressive. It's certainly not as impressive as his workout tape, where he throws the ball 75 yards in the air and then does a backflip. And you go, I can't believe this guy's even human.
Right.
He definitely had trouble reading defenses, the SEC, and his accuracy with his long ball, even though he does have a cannon, the accuracy was not always there. But, you're talking about a late 6th round pick. Those guys, when the Patriots were really good, those guys weren't even making the roster in a lot of years. So it's worth a gamble. There's a good chance he ends up as the 3rd quarterback, which might even be a practice squad guy, and just try to develop him, get him in the film room, get him reading defenses, relaxing, being more poised in the pocket, and seeing what he can do. Because, in the NFL, all of these guys are just, their athleticism is so ridiculous that, even these guys with cannon arms and all the measurables and all that stuff are no guarantee. But he's very similar to Anthony Richardson,
yes,
who I had as the number 1 guy last year. I didn't like the quarterback class nearly as much, but I had him 1 and C.J. Stroud 2, and then Bryce Young much further back on my personal list. But it's the same thing. It's just you have no guarantee, and Richardson's a little more polished. He's a more accurate passer. He looks more poised and confident. So he's worth a gamble higher up. But Joe Milton in the 6th round to me was a no-brainer. I loved it. He was certainly the highest ranked quarterback on my board at the time, and pretty close to the highest ranked player.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with best player available right there.
Yep.
No, the Patriots actually this year drafted best player available 3 times from my board.
Yeah.
Out of their 8 picks, they drafted best player available 3 times. So I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but it certainly felt like they were making a lot of good picks. I had May was best player available in round 1. Javon Baker was best player available in round 4. And their 7th round pick, Jaheim Bell from Florida State, was best player available in round 7. So they got 3 of them, and not a lot of my best player availables when they were up were on the defensive side of the ball, and only 1 of their 8 picks was on defense. So just a little difference of opinion there.
Yeah, kind of surprising too with the defensive coach with Jared Mayo. Really wanted meat and potatoes, getting quarterback, offensive lineman.
I think they publicly said going into the draft that their 3 priorities were quarterback, wide receiver, and tackle. And that was before they had re-signed Mike Onwenu to a monster extension. So he's holding down the right tackle spot for them. So they need the left tackle. They need a wide receiver 1. And then obviously they were going to go quarterback at 3 overall if they didn't trade out. But in terms of their defense was really solid last year. And they're bringing back Christian Gonzalez, who was Defensive Rookie of the Month, NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month for September, and didn't play the rest of the year, had a torn labrum. So he's back. And Matthew Judon, who is their only Pro Bowl player over the past 2 years, also was done for the season after 4 games last year. And they still had one of the better defenses in the NFL. So you're talking about bringing back arguably your 2 best defensive players to a unit that was a strength of the team. So I certainly have understand the focus being on the offensive side, but especially with pass rushers and defensive ends, their depth just isn't great. I was surprised if they didn't draft one that they haven't signed a free agent to date. They still do have 2 open roster spots on their 90-man roster, so potentially still want to add there, but they do need a little more help along the defensive line. Depth is always a good thing to have.
Nice. Well, it's definitely a nice new start to the new era for the Patriots as they bring in the new regime here. I'm definitely looking forward to see how it turns out, but we don't want to keep you too much longer. We know you've got dad duties and such, and you've got a life to life to lead as well. So we got
Celtics playoffs here too.
That's
yeah, I was
right.
gonna
It's
say,
a close game right now, man.
We were going to touch on that, but we don't want to keep you any longer, so we'll let you go on this one. But we appreciate you hopping on, man.
Do you want to plug any of your socials or anything?
Perfect. No, I'm on Twitter is my or X, I guess, is my main place to be found on social media. It's Dan Kelley, Kelley 66 is my handle there. And then just in terms of all my Patriots coverage and just general draft coverage, especially in NFL coverage, can be found at patriotsfootballnow.com.
Easy.
And that's been going well. So Patriots Football Now, we did win the Boston market for the draft, and hopefully we'll have a little more bragging rights a year from now when move up those rankings a bit.
There you go, man.
Nice. Well, good job on your draft coverage, man. I'll definitely be following it. And hopefully, if it's cool with you, we can reach out in the future when more stuff kind of happens, when we get closer to the seasons, and touch on the Patriots again, if that's cool.
I'd love it. Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
No, thank you, man.
Thank
we greatly
you.
appreciate your time. You have a great rest of your night.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right,
Take
care.
care.
Bye. Wow. We keep
great.
getting these super informative people.
Man. It's humbling.
Yeah,
it's
is.
definitely humbling.
Yeah.
They really know their shit, and just like knowing that he got 23rd when it comes to draft,
almost 1,500 drafts.
1,500, man. I was happy whenever I was like, oh, I got 4 right. Oh, that was out of the top 5 picks, and then the rest of it just fell through.
The easy ones.
Yeah, the real easy ones. But man, he really knows his shit. He really knows the Patriots, and it's awesome to find a Patriots guy that's been following even before the Robert Kraft days. Not just another one of those guys. It's like, oh, I fell in love with him with Tom Brady and stuff, So
yeah, that was great, man. So yeah, go check out Dan Kelley, Patriots Football Now, and on X. Right now, though, we are going to let you hear the musical stylings of Thelma and the Sleaze. The name of this song is Pain, and it's coming at you right now.
What is it you think you're trying to do? What is this rock and roll business? Nobody's doing that anymore. Why you gotta go against the grain, little lady? I think you're pretty good for a girl. I like what you do. What's your favorite Black Sabbath album?
Every
for the final time of episode 83. You just heard Pain by Thelma and the Sleaze. They are on tour right now. Check out their website, thelmaandthesleaze.com, to find tour dates near you. If you are in the Denver area, you can see them June 6th with my band, The Born Readies, at the High Dive. That's going to be a rip-roaring show, and it's Brett's new knees debut, so his knees will be up there doing all kinds of jigs and stuff.
Pretty much a bionic Brett you're going to be getting.
Bionic now. Bionic Brett.
Yep.
Anyways, check out Thelma and the Sleaze. Go like and give them a follow, and give them a listen. So come check them out in Denver in a month, or less than a month. Jesus, this year's flying by.
Yeah, crazy. It's summertime already.
Yeah, it's we said we had early night tonight, so we've got like 20 some minutes to get through the NBA and the NHL. We're gonna see what we can do. Let's get into the NBA right now.
Take it roll! Take it roll! Outlet! Rain dance! Sandy, come on! Sandy! T! Come on! I'm burning. I want you to burn.
That'll be the...
Yeah, there you go. That's the clip right there. Oh, look at that. We just figured that out.
On the fly. We've never done that. Hell yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the Eastern Conference as we are watching the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers at the moment. It is in the second quarter, but there is about over 29 seconds left, and Boston is ahead 59-57.
They just hit a three on this ESPN NBA scores webpage. I guess is just a little bit faster than the stream I've got going on right now.
So they're going to hit a three right now.
I can just predict the future. No big deal.
Yeah.
So it's going to go into the half 62-57. They are playing in Cleveland, and they're playing without Donovan Mitchell. So the fact
and
that the
Jared
Celtics,
Allen.
Yeah, and without Jared Allen. So the fact that they're struggling this much, it really says a lot that they really need Kristaps Porzingis back.
They do, or they need, much like last game, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to go off for a combined 61. So they've got some issues here as they're trying to work it out. We'll see if they can pull this game off against a hobbled Cleveland Cavaliers team. But let's move on to a surprising series, as my hot take is cooling off very quickly as the New York Knicks, who I said would come out of the East and be in the finals, are having a real tough time getting past the Pacers. They win the first two games, and now the Pacers have won Game 3 and Game 4. Sunday's game was a blowout.
You got to attribute this a lot to injuries. I was really shocked that Jalen Brunson played this game. He was questionable. I think it's an ankle that he's dealing with. But I mean, at this point of the season, it's like Jokic said. I think Jokic had the best statement for it, and it came right after LeBron made an excuse that he's not 100% going into the playoffs. And he said, Jokic said, if you're not 100% right now, then you either haven't played all the games, you're just not playing hard enough.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Knicks. For one, they lost Julius Randle like a month and a half or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he barely played much of the season.
The fact that they're where they are right now is all due to Jalen Brunson.
All due to him. When they got OG Anunoby, that really changed that team up when they traded for him. Then he's out with the hamstring injury. Jalen Brunson's all banged up right now. So it's really, they're trying to scrap together they just don't have enough guys, even on their bench. Like, those guys just don't have, this is the first time they're playing with these rotations, and they got clobbered last night. I mean, 121-89. Halliburton really took advantage of a hurt team, 20 points, 6 rebounds. So it's going back to New York, and we'll just see if Jalen Brunson and those guys can rest up and try to get healthy enough to steal one at home.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but they do get that time off. Man, they have till tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking that it's already Tuesday.
Well, now the games are going to start happening a little faster.
A little faster now. So let's move into the Western Conference. Do you want to take the lead on this one?
We'll start off with our Nuggets that came back and tied the series 2-2 last night. This is tough for us. We got to fly through this, but we could easily spend the rest of the episode on this because this is amazing. Everybody wrote the Nuggets off. One of the best takes that I've got from this is the fact that Michael Malone said after Game 3, what he did before Game 3 was compile a video of all of the national pundits writing off the Nuggets, saying they are going to get swept, and had the team watch that.
Yeah.
And boy, did that light a fire under their ass, because they played really good Game 3 and then even better Game 4. So
yeah, Game 4 was fun to watch. This is a knockdown drag. I think it's going to go 7 now. I think the Nuggets win tomorrow night. I think the Wolves win at home, and then I think it's Game 7 here in Denver. Anthony Edwards, this is going to become one of those all-time rivalries now that the Lakers rivalry is officially dead. I think it is now the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. You got Anthony Edwards after the game telling Jamal Murray, we love that, keep talking.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's game at midnight. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, it's tied 2-2, and this now is a full blown series. When on Friday afternoon I was not feeling this good, but here we are back at it again. So let's get into the Dallas Mavericks and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Mavs surprisingly are leading 2-1 in this series as they are hobbled themselves. Luka Doncic, I think, if he was a hockey player, it would just say whole body injury at this point.
Man.
His knee, his back, he needs a backiotomy, he needs a knee, he needs everything.
On NBA TNT, right before they started the Celtics game, they were talking about the Mavs, and they just showed all of these clips of him just falling down, tripping, getting hit, face planting on the gym floor.
He did smack his face off the floor.
Sure did. God, that looked like it hurt. So, I mean, and that's another team where, but the guy that we got to mention for the Mavs, PJ Washington.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah, this dude's been lighting it up, and the Thunder just keep letting him shoot, and he keeps draining him. So
yeah, Kyrie, Luka, and him combined for 71 in that Game 3 win. So it's hard to beat a team when they're just rolling on you like that. So that is going to do it for the NBA. In terms of big news, the only thing that really happened, Suns hire coach Mike Budenholzer to a reported 5-year deal worth $50+ million. So now he gets another chance after he got fired from the Bucks when Giannis didn't want him anymore. Now he goes to try and fix what might be unfixable in the Suns. We'll see. So no, I don't envy him right
Crazy how things turned around. Well, wasn't it 2021 that he beat the Suns as the Bucks head coach?
Yeah.
And then just
that was the year they won. That was the year they won, wasn't it?
Yeah. Less than 3 years later, they fire him, and then now he's the Suns coach. So
yeah, it's
you never know what could happen.
Well, yeah, how quickly things change.
Yep.
All right, let's move into the NHL. The All right, let's get into the second round of the NHL playoffs. And in the first division, we've got the Atlantic Division, where the Florida Panthers are taking on the Boston Bruins. Right now, I believe, what are we at here?
Tonight? Or you mean like
Florida
last
leads
night?
the series 3-1. The last game, Florida won 3-2 over Boston. Boston is not looking good right now.
No.
Florida is taking it to them. And, you know, Sam Bennett from the Panthers knocked out Brad Marchand, and he is out of this next game with a concussion or, you know, the head injury, upper body, whatever you want to call it. And this game's been, I mean, there's been some fights, some crazy fights. It's definitely an interesting series, but I think Florida's going to pull it out, especially now with Marchand out. That's going to be tough for the Bruins to come back from. So let's move into the Metropolitan Division, where the Rangers, the President's Cup trophy winning Rangers, almost swept the Carolina Hurricanes, but the Hurricanes showed up in Game 3, winning that game 4-3 and staving off what was going to be a pretty quick sweep as the Rangers continue their quest to kill the curse that is the President's Cup President's Cup. Oh my God.
Tongue twister, dude.
President's Cup trophy curse.
And
Jesus.
they're playing right now. There's 14 left in the second period, and it's still 0-0.
0-0 in the second.
That's right.
So that will take us into the Central Division, where tonight the Dallas Stars are taking on the Colorado Avalanche at home. Right now, the series is led by Dallas 2-1. Let's see here.
Avalanche going to get any offense going the other night.
No, they couldn't. It's weird though because if you watching the game, I was like, the Avalanche feel like they're outplaying them.
Yeah,
but it's just like every shot they're taking is going in, and meanwhile the Avalanche just cannot get any. There was no screens on the goalie. Like everything was right in front of him. They've got to turn things around tonight. They are getting Jonathan Drouin back tonight, which is going to be huge for the top 6 guys. That's going to also add another offensive guy up there, I think, in the second line. So hopefully that can spark them. I'm not too
the Rangers
worried about
just scored 1-0 now.
Shit.
That sweep that series could be over tonight.
It could be, and it very well may be. I mean, I don't see any way they're going to win 3 games, especially against that team. The Rangers are so deep right now, and plus you got to go against Igor Shesterkin, which that name alone is scary.
So
the
Avs got to win tonight. That's a desperate win.
Yeah, you want to win this one at home. You want to go back 2-2. Because you don't want to go back to Dallas down 3-1. So
Dallas has now lost. Let's see, they lost their first 2 games in the first series, and then they lost this one. So they've lost 3 games in these playoffs so far in Dallas. So they can definitely win Game 5 there.
I mean, that's like New York. They haven't lost until that game Saturday against the Canes. They swept and then they're
playing
won.
really good.
Yeah, so
really good hockey right now.
Let's finish it out in the Pacific Division where the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers are facing off, and the Canucks are beating up on Edmonton. Edmonton is running out of gas. They don't have anybody outside of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Everybody else is just not helping at all. They need somebody else to step up aside from those two. Connor McDavid got checked in the neck at the end of the game last was it Sunday? No, Saturday.
Sunday.
I still think it's Tuesday.
Or is that when the hit got?
No,
they played on Sunday,
and then it was Sunday.
Yeah,
it happened yesterday. And the guy who hit him actually got suspended.
Whoa!
So for 1 game, which is pretty huge right now in the playoffs.
It is.
Let me see who it was. Of course, now I can't find it. Either way, they. Oh my God, we got barks happening. Little man's pissed. Sorry. I got to click back. So, yeah, Edmonton is down 2-1. It is looking like Vancouver may very well beat out, the second coming in Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers.
It'd be good. That'd be the last Canadian team left. So, I'd be about it.
Yeah, we need a Canadian team in there.
It doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right, man. I know. Like we're not giving them a fair shot or something. I don't know.
No, we're not. Well dude, Jinx, Cokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Let's get into the final part of the show. The DDOE.
Mr. John Daly.
Coming
down the line.
At the end of every show, it's time for the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, to hit it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing.
It's just natural fact.
This is my new pick to win the PGA Championship.
John Daly?
Yep, he's going to win it from Hooters.
Right at the bar.
I won.
All right.
This is kind of an unexpected one today. Who's taking home the award?
Yeah, who would have thought we'd be talking about Flavor Flav? Yep. Flavor Flav. Get your clocks.
Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That was episodes. Like the pinnacle of like terrible reality TV.
After that, it was like Tila Tequila.
Yeah,
Big Brother blew up real big. It was just
what was the other? Oh, Celebrity Rehab, which Bridget Nielsen was on later.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she hit all of them.
Yeah, she did them all.
Yep. But man, that was crazy. That was a crazy time in human history.
Crazy watching Flavor Flav. And
why we're talking about
Nielsen.
Flavor Flav is the United States women's water polo team is getting some support from a surprising source. Earlier this week, team captain Maggie Stevens, probably how you say that?
I'm going to go Steffens. Let's go Steffens.
I'm going to say that. Posted on social media that she was seeking support for the women's water polo team, and rapper Flavor Flav ended up answering the bell.
Yeah, he said, as a girl dad and supporter of all women's sports, I'ma personally sponsor you, my girl, whatever you need. Flav commented on her post, and I'm going to sponsor the whole team. That's a Flavor Flav promise.
They really quoted it verbatim.
Yeah,
there.
they did. They even, I'm a.
Yep. So, according to CBS News, Flav is actually finalizing a deal that will make him the United States women's water polo team sponsor and official hype man. Flav has already begun hyping up the team's players on social media. We love this. This is great.
The next thing's nice here. This is a quote directly from Flav. When I come out and I watch this water polo team, USA, USA, yo, I'm going to be the biggest hype man that they ever had in their life. I'm going to be bigger than any cheerleader that they had in their life. I'm going to cheer this team on. I'm going to cheer this team into winning a gold medal. Dude, Flavor Flav's 65,
He's 65.
man. Holy
I totally
shit.
believe it, man. He looks like he's 85.
Yeah, he does.
It's nuts.
He's definitely been rode hard,
But
put away wet.
he's got a heart of gold, and I think this is awesome. I'm now totally intrigued, and I want to see how well
You're
they
gonna
do.
be
from
watching
this. I'm going to be
women's
watching.
water polo.
I don't even understand the rules, but I'm going to figure it out.
It's basically like
volleyball,
basketball and
pretty
volleyball, kind of.
I don't think there's
you're
a
like
hoop there,
throwing
is there?
it, but yeah, I know it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kind of looks like
It's like volleyball, I guess, in the water. But all I ever
Waterball.
think of is like Meet the Parents when they're playing water polo. He just smacks in the face. Such a hilarious movie,
speaking
man.
of you get smashed in those in Righteous Gemstones last night, BJ. It was like when what's her name's the sister,
Judy?
Judy.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend shows up on the pickleball court, and he's like talking shit to BJ, and then he just gets mad and like serves that ball and hits the old man right in the nose.
I remember that shit. I totally.
BJ's like, "You're bleeding a lot. Are you okay?"
God, that show's so fucking funny, man. I love that show.
It gets me at least once an episode where I laugh. Pretty,
I'm glad
pretty
you're
good.
watching it, man. We love that show.
But anyways, back to, as we digress. Big ups to Flavor Flav.
Stepping up and doing this. This is great.
No longer public enemy number one. He is now water polo supporter number one.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, all these, and you know, when he said, did you mention him being like a girl dad and all that?
I did,
one of the-
yeah, I did
that's
say
one
that.
of the reasons he wanted to get into this. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
I try.
You know, that's what's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, and just like we said, who would have thought we'd be talking, well, two things. Flavor Flav and women's water polo.
You never know.
You never would think that we'd be talking about
That's what
that.
happens
the
when
show
you
does.
listen to the Fringe Fanatics.
Yeah, when you're
man.
on the fringe, and you're hanging out on the fringe of sports with the Fringe Fanatics,
and
you can hear about water polo and Flavor Flav. You know?
We're amicable, dude. You know, Chiefs fan, Broncos fan. You never would have thought that we would bridge the gap and talk to a Patriots insider. But you know what? Here,
we're going to have a Raiders insider on soon, which
eventually,
is just blasphemous.
We're going to have a Commanders one on, Titans, Buccaneers before long.
Yeah, so things are happening. Tell your friends.
Yep.
Tell all your friends. And on that note, we appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you guys
tuning
for
in
listening.
this week. We will be back next week, and stick around our socials. We'll be posting lots of clips from this episode over the week.
I think next week it's the Commanders Insider. If you're a Commanders fan,
check it out.
Check it out. Thanks, guys.
Till then,
Much
toodles.
love you, buddy.